We are born into an ancient struggle. It's a struggle between good and evil. We're the product of an intentional act, and we were imbued with a force that was greater even than those who created us.
Well, I just happened to come upon the interview between Joe Rogan and Gregg Braden.
We're not what we've been told. We're so much more than we've been led to believe.
I've seen a couple of these videos before. They're very esoteric, and some of the things he says are quite controversial.
From what I have read and what I understand in the ancient traditions is, I think, very possibly we have been enslaved at a time in our past. I don't think it's the reason we're created.
But in this particular interview, there was a truth about it that it really affected me, and I felt I just wanted to make a video on my thoughts. But yeah, he certainly in his time and in his interviews has said many controversial things. I've noticed that his earlier interviews when he was much younger, we're talking about 40 years ago, some of the things were quite extreme, talking about Anunnaki, who created the pyramids, chromosome N2. So I'm not quite sure if he came up with the concept, and he says something about us having, or I don't know where this chromosome N2 came from, but he almost implies that it was embedded in us at some point, and it was the catalyst to change us into awareness from being monkeys and apes. There have been some that have said that that was an alien intervention. Some others have said that we were somehow sent down here as slaves, as some people might even say, as an experiment. But yeah, the reason for my video tonight is just to show the beauty of this man's mind.
There's a concerted effort, Joe, to deny us our ability to express our humanness.
And I'm sure you'll find some ideas and thoughts that he shared quite moving and enlightening, and in a sense he did give me a feeling of hope.
That we're not what we've been told. We're so much more than we've been led to believe.
For humanity in this very confusing time. Yeah, there's a lot of chaos happening at the moment. I almost feel like sometimes I don't know what to believe when I watch the news, but the way he talks makes me feel like there's something there, something to believe in, and it's very hopeful. So I'm going to just show you a few more controversial ideas, more interviews from his past first, and then we'll tackle the rest.
And he believed that that was the reason we were created.
Like sci-fi stories that's out there is the story of the Anunnaki coming down and creating us to basically be a slave species to terraform the planet.
Well, that was his interpretation, that we were deceived into coming to this world rather than this planet. We were deceived into coming into this realm of matter. This is the biblical perspective, coming to the earth realm and captured in matter in three-dimensional bodies and led to believe that there is no other realm.
What is the most destructive lie we've been told about our divinity?
Divinity is our ability, the human ability, to transcend perceived limitations. Here's what's happening. Archaeological discoveries now, scientists said, oh, well, these are anomalies. So, we've got our history and we're sure it's right. And then here's an anomaly and we'll put it over here. We'll come back and look at it later. Well, now there are so many anomalies. The anomalies are telling the new story. Underlying this mind is the matrix of all matter, the field of intelligent, non-conventional energy. It doesn't work the way electricity or broadcast energy works. It's with the belief that the space between things is empty. And now we know that nothing could be further from the truth. Our science has been based in the belief that everything is separate from everything else. What happens in this lifetime has nothing to do with any other lifetimes, and when we leave our bodies, there's nothing for our souls to travel into. And not necessarily governments, but people are ready for something more than the suffering and the war of the last 100 years in the 20th century. They're ready. They're ready for peace. They recognize that we're a family.
We are so much more than we have been told.
If we don't claim our humanness, there are powers and forces that will stop at nothing to deny us our humanness.
We are so much more than we've been led to believe. And Greg really puts it so beautifully. He says as much.
Scientists now are beginning to look at the human body as more than soft, sticky, wet, gooey, mushy, cells and skin.
We're at a crossroads. I'm not a conspiracy theorist or some crazy person. I'm just having a dialogue and sharing my thoughts. Certain things in the last few years have certainly felt off. 9/11, COVID, and now this new digital ID system. Maybe I've just watched too many conspiracy theory videos, but I have always done them with the intention of finding out more, not to be brainwashed by crazy ideas, but just to stay aware and to stay awake.
It is the reason for everything you're seeing happening in the world today.
And not just take everything at face value.
To believe, and we're about to give our humanness away to the technology before we even know what it means to be human.
Where is the truth? I mean, where can you find it?
Imagination, creativity, innovation, empathy, sympathy, love, compassion, healing, forgiveness. These are expressions of human divinity. It's what sets us apart from all other forms of life. It makes us such powerful beings.
The only truth that I can find is through myself, through my own meditation and through my own questioning and by gathering evidence and then building some sort of puzzle. Is anyone that is out on social media actually telling us the truth? And this is why when I listen to Gregg Braden's to this interview with Joe Rogan, it really resonated with that little voice inside me saying something's not right.
The purpose of evil is to deny human divinity. The purpose of evil is to deny us our greatest expressions: imagination, creativity, the ability to communicate and share our ideas, empathy, sympathy, self-healing.
For the world, where is our humanity? Where is our kindness? Where is our compassion for others? When I read the comments on Facebook and even on YouTube, everyone is up against each other. Everyone is wanting to hurt with their words. And there's an overwhelming amount of negativity that is infiltrated social media. And it doesn't sit right with me because I know there's more good. There are more kind, caring people in the world. And yet the comments show the largest percentage of humans out there are quite malicious and nasty. I also know that many of the comments are bots, and I've called them out because no sane human being would say some of those things. And Gregg Braden here in this interview, it almost made me feel like, are we being forced out of our humanity? Are we being cornered into a situation where you either comply or we will deny you any rights? Whether that be the ability to get to your finances, the ability to buy food for your family, medical care. And I mean, if you don't comply, where would you live? Do I need to find a little piece of land out there? It's madness. This is crazy. Where does religion come in here? what happened to being kind to your neighbor? Now we all feel like everybody is out to get us, even our neighbor.
Today, there's a concerted effort, Joe, to deny us our ability to express our humanness.
I can't help asking myself the question, is there a force out there creating all this chaos in the world? And who or what is this force? And to what end? Why? And yes, of course, it is about control. But why? It doesn't make any sense in my brain, because everyone should be free to live and be happy and fully express their humanity in whatever way they wish. But there just seems to be this downward trend, which is very worrying, of aggressiveness.
If we don't claim our humanness, there are powers and forces that will stop at nothing to deny us our humanness
Towards each other. And it feels like it's being fueled by this force, this group of people, I don't know. Like there is a plan and we are all just sheep being led to this grand plan of destroying the last bits of humanity that is left over. And I think it will take time. It's hard to believe that all the movies, the future movies, George Orwell's 1984, and yeah, there's just been so many movies that scare the living Jesus out of me that I've seen, and I'm just always, that's like waking up from a nightmare and going, thank goodness that's only a movie or a series, because what would I do in that situation? Hunger Games.
and we're about to give our humanness away to the technology before we even know what it means to be human.
Even the Matrix.
Awakening this fundamental force within us. The closer we get to that awakening, the more chaos you see in the world to keep us distracted.
It is worrying, but then there's Gregg Braden and how he spoke on Joe Rogan podcast.
So in a very real sense, Joe, anything that denies those things is an expression of evil. So when we find that algorithms are denying us the ability to communicate our ideas, from this perspective, that's an expression of evil.
And they gave me hope, and that made me feel we're going to be okay. We've got people out there that are aware and hopefully know how to guide us through this.
That we're not what we've been told. We're so much more than we've been led to believe.
In a section of his chat with Joe Rogan, he talks so beautifully about what's inside the human being and how powerful we are. And
There's a part of us that doesn't live inside the body, but that the body tunes to through the antenna of neurons and DNA.
And our neurons, and how we communicate with the spirit that is beyond us.
But they're looking at the human body from the perspective of information passing through and communicating with the world around us.
I think, if I understood him correctly, the soul lives inside the body, but the spirit is outside the body.
That we are such an advanced form of life. We're more than that. We're neurons and cell membranes and ion potentials. The ability for us to self-regulate is the core of all the ancient and cherished spiritual traditions.
And he said that there's a part of us that doesn't live in the body. And I guess that's spirit, and that our own bodies have been so beautifully created that we can connect with this external energy.
Every human cell is a gated circuit. It's got an input and output. Every cell produces about 0.07 volts, 3.5 trillion volts of electrical potential in the human body. We're photon emitters and photon receivers, and we store information just like a computer chip.
And we can connect with other people's energies that in turn affect us. And that makes me appreciate the beauty of being fully alive.
We are the only form of life that can consciously self-regulate and apply it to our healing, to our intuition, to our resilience. And the ability to do that, it is the reason for everything you're seeing happening in the world today.
Being fully alive, that is a beautiful adventure.
Because it's through our humanness that we have these extraordinary potentials that empower us as sovereign, critically thinking, self-regulating human beings. And it's very difficult to play out the agendas that are proposed for the world.
Being fully alive, that is a beautiful adventure.
Here's what scientists are doing. They're saying, oh yeah, there's a field out there that connects everything, and their hands are doing this. The field's not out there. We're the field. The atoms in our bodies are emerging and collapsing into that field. We are the field, and that is what makes us so powerful.
This inner self, this strange place where we feel our true identity resides in, is utterly personal. It won't show up when we stare at ourselves in the mirror. All this is happening, like some strange creature who is given self-awareness.
The point of all of this is we're not what we've been told, and we're so much more than we've been led to believe. And it is the attempt to deny that power that is driving so much of what we're seeing happening in our world today.
The light in the eyes of others, they guide you on your way.
Evil has an active stated purpose, and the purpose of evil has always been to deny us the greatest expressions of our humanness.
Disguise. I'm sorry I irritated you. I'm so sorry. You can let me go now. I'm sorry. I won't mess with your zen. I won't mess with your zen. Okay? Don't mess with anyone's zen. Otherwise they'll viciously attack you.
If the purpose of the evil is to deny our humanness and our divinity, we triumph by living the best version of ourselves. Imagining freely and sharing ideas and creating, and don't be afraid to have empathy and sympathy and compassion. And we say, well, I don't know if this is a good thing or not. You ask yourself, does it affirm or does it deny my humanness? The greatest task is to cherish and honor and care for the gift of the human body. Why would we want to give that away to technology before we even know what it means to be human? And once we give it away, we can never go back. This is how you lose a species. And I think we're worth preserving. I'm advocating for our humanness, for our divinity, for our love, because that's what sets us apart from all other forms of life, and I think we're worth preserving.
I've always taken the path that is most right.
But I can't do
The result
what I believe is wrong.
is never in question for me.
It is a kingdom of conscience,
Just what path do you take to get there?
or nothing.